sometimes it's games like this, and you're like, where do we start the post-game report because of how good Tennessee was, not only at the plate but on the mound, and that was certainly the case here tonight against Cincinnati as they win 10-6, and the scoreboard really isn't indicative of how dominating Tennessee was in this matchup as they return to the Knoxville Regional Championship tomorrow. Of course, this game is on Monday, but where they started in this game, I guess since they were the road team, you might as well start with what they were doing at the plate, and they were dominant at the plate, and it started by Gavin Keelan. The only other time he had a similar stat line at the plate that he did tonight against the Cincinnati Bearcats, you have to go all the way back to like the beginning of the season against Rice, and he was like 4 of 5. In this game, he started 4 of 4. He was perfect in his first handful of at-bats, and it started with a leadoff hit for Tennessee, but it's Dean Curley who really helped capitalize those early efforts and that early success. It was, a 2 RBI, I think it was a double to start the game, and that comes after his 6-game hitting streak ended against Miami of Ohio, and he gets right back to starting a new hit in the first inning of the game. And it was really kind of just, again, that continuous hitting that Tennessee was able to find. Cannon Peoples gave them some really good hits as well, and I know something that Vol fans picked up quickly on against Miami of Ohio is when they do get an extra base hit, they have their own celebrations that they do at the plate. But the last couple of games, they've been going back to that Drew Gilbert celly at second base. So I had to ask Cannon Peoples after the game, after he hit a couple of those cellies, what maybe sparked that change?
I don't know. It just popped up on my phone one day, and I thought it was cool. And it's something that, I think a lot of the young guys on this team, and I mean, even everybody grew up kind of watching. And I hadn't had a double in a while. So for me, I was kind of like, at next double I get, I might just pull it out if I feel like it. And then I just ended up doing it for fun. Luckily, the team said that they loved it. So I was just like, might as well keep it going.
And then you look to Dean Curley once more, and he hits a home run off the batter's eye at center field. And it's just what he's been able to do has really been a testament maybe to how he's turned out some outside noise, and there's been a lot of loud criticism, and maybe some of it's warranted, some of it's a little bit of overkill, but for him it's maybe keeping the same thing, and as Vitella will say, like, not focusing on the wrong things.
Guys, there's so much in front of them, so which thing do you want to listen to? And I think at this point it gets real tiring to listen to complaints or critique, or for a kid to stress himself out and again want to be perfect or want to do this or that. And eventually, we've all been mad before. It's exhausting. I can hold a grudge as well as anybody in the room, as can a lot of other Italians. It'll wear you out. So eventually you just say, I'm still mad, but I can't do this anymore. I'm over with it. So that's the best parallel I can think of a guy, and he's one case, but there's others too. I just want to play, man. It's kind of like Hunter Ensley. Not a lot of time left in a Vol uniform. Just wants to play.
Again, I think when we get out of the chronological side of what was going on in this game, and I mean, it's important to talk about what was happening at the plate because the bats have been so quiet oftentimes for Tennessee, but it's maybe more important to talk about what we saw on the mound tonight from Marcus Phillips. We talked about it after the game yesterday when he was getting ready for his next appearance, that it was so important for him to build off what he was doing in his last couple of outings where he lasted at least 4 innings in those games, and he was able to do that in this game as well. And maybe while he lacked some control in the beginning of those innings, he really turned it on in the bottom of the 5th, where you saw that emotion start to come out for Marcus Phillips, and he's pumping his fist and he's yelling, yeah, and he gets the pickoff finally. And that's been such a point for him where he's wanted to grow, and he's maybe not put all of his attention there, but it certainly has been a point of emphasis for him to get that rhythm down so that opponents can't continue to take advantage of him. And the Bearcats really even noticed that they kind of were stifled in that regard too.
Honestly, it didn't feel like there was a lot of people taking off earlier in the year, and once we got to SEC play, everybody in this league wants to win. They find different ways to attack hitters and pitchers and stuff like that. So, but the learning process is just every day you can learn something new, whether it's on the mound or in catch play or through bullpens, which is what helped me a lot. Just working on a quicker step to home plate and honestly just progressing week by week.
It's important to make the right decisions, like when to go for it on 4th down, or when to kick the field goal or go for the touchdown. It's also important to make the right insurance decisions, too. That's why my office, Trey McAdams State Farm, is here to help you select the right protection at the right price. Our office will make sure you understand your State Farm coverages, so you'll know what to expect when the unexpected happens. With Trey McAdams State Farm, it's easy to make the right call. When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Proud sponsor of the Tennessee Vols.
I've teased it enough. So to Vitello, when I asked him about the vibes, because so much this season he's talked about, oh, we got to keep the vibes high. The vibes are so good. This is such a calm and mature team. But when you do stuff like Drew Gilbert, I mean, that's a ton of emotion that those types of celebrations bring. And you're talking about Drew Gilbert, who plays with nothing but pure emotion and passion. And Vitello, instead of maybe talking about how it's really juiced the team up, they're high on energy, he otherwise says that the energy could be better.
Be critical coach guy. It hasn't been as good as it can be this weekend. And, you know, it's called a team sport for a reason. You need every single guy to really enjoy this. And, you know, there's been some guys either trying to do too much or frustrated because they're not perfect, or just other things you notice. And, again, it's just being a coach. I mean, it's been great, but I think it can be even better. I mean, this is such a special deal. Marcus mentioned the crowd. I mean, to play at home maybe makes it a little bit sweeter, but overall, just to be involved in this thing is crazy. I never got to do it.
Yeah, so we'll see if some of that energy gets a little bit better on Sunday, or if they can continue to win and they get to the Super Regionals, maybe what that positive vibes and energy really looks like, if it's really about what translates at the plate and having more productive at-bats, really like Dean Curley and Levi Clark did in their battles with the pitcher too. So yeah, just an interesting comment that maybe while the team looks good, it could be better. But I guess that's baseball. You always want to try and get to the next level. But we'll be back tomorrow. So too will the Lady Vols as they try to stay winning in the losers bracket. And of course, Championship Sunday for the Tennessee Volunteers. So I'll be back tomorrow. Please make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out.